have their magic number. It has dwindled down to 15, taking on a Tampa Bay Rays team and have won 9 of their last 11. It's the middle game of the series here this evening from inside Progressive Field. Welcome inside. Happy as always you can join us for Major League Baseball on FS1. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, Shane Bieber getting the ball today, the rookie, the 23-year-old. He throws a ton of strikes.
He fills up the strike zone. There's no question about it. He doesn't have what you'd call premier stuff. We'll see that from Blake Snell of the Rays today. But Bieber is a guy in August and 5 starts, walked a total of only 5 hitters. So you know he's going to be around the plate.
Indians winners last night in Game 1 behind who else? Corey Kluber. Terry Francona already hitting the double bubble very early. Always a trend for any Indians game. Tribe right now 77 and 57. First place in the Central, taking on this Rays club is surprising virtually everyone. 71 and 63. They have traded what feels like half of their 25-man roster since even going back to spring training, yet very competitive still. Joey Wendell leads things off, the second baseman. He looks at ball 1.
Yeah, I'd say they're a surprise, as you mentioned, Aaron, all the changes they've gone through. If you put them in the Central with Cleveland, they'd be only 3 games back.
Well, the Rays are coming off of their best month of the year, 17 and 10 as the calendar has now flipped to September. They were shut out last night, however, and held to just 2 hits. But Kevin Cash has done a magnificent job with this club this year. Hard hit on the ground and into right field. So Wendell now has 7-game hitting streak. The rest of the Rays lineup is marked down by Kevin Cash. Matt Duffy coming to the plate now. One of their best hitters, batting nearly 300 on the season. Tommy Pham is a new face. We talked about all the players that have departed St. Pete, but Pham coming to Tampa Bay, coming over from the Cardinals. Willie Adames, one of the couple of rookies in this lineup, along with Brandon Lau, the right fielder, batting 9th for Tampa Bay.
Besides filling up the strike zone, what Shane Bieber also does well is hold runners. Has allowed just 1 stolen base this year in his 14 starts. The Rays do have some runners, have some athleticism. He's the kind of guy, though, Aaron, that you can play hit and run against because he is around the plate, not necessarily a swing and miss guy.
Time called very late by Duffy. Maybe something in his eye. Well, it's funny, Tom, when you think about the Indians and Terry Francona's rotation. You see him step out here at the last moment. I mean, this is a team more than maybe any other in the game built around their rotation in recent years. I don't think Shane Bieber is probably as much of a household name as Kluber. Of course, Trevor Bauer, unfortunately, on the disabled list. And yet, Terry Francona and the Indians absolutely love what this rookie has done so far this season.
Well, maybe not a household name with a lot of fans outside of Cleveland, but I like what Terry Francona said at the trading deadline last year and even this year. Everybody in baseball wanted this guy. Athletic delivery, talked about how well he holds runners, fields his position well. And you're seeing that pitch there, that slider, to me, that's his best pitch. The fastball, to me, Aaron, is, I'm going to call it mediocre. It's actually a low spin, lower velocity than average fastball. But as long as he keeps it low in the zone and also shows above the hands, in other words, he has to move that in and out, up and down, he's okay. I think it really plays well at the bottom of the zone best.
He's ahead of Duffy 1-2. Missing high with that fastball.
Yeah, he has to show that every once in a while up there. He gets hit when the ball's in the middle quadrant or the middle zone, as most pitchers would, but especially because it's basically 91, 92.
Full count to Duffy, having really a strong year, batting .296. Of course, missed all of last year with an Achilles injury. Former Giant.
Now this is a situation where I would start the runner at first base. Duffy figure he's going to make contact against Bieber. Good runner Wendell at first. Start the runner here.
Keep him close.
And it looked like he was trying to get a little bit of a jump there. As a runner, it's not important to get a great jump in this situation. You're not outright trying to steal a bag.
And again.
Yeah, you're getting a good idea of how well he defends the running game, Bieber, that varying the times of the holds and the quick feet to first base.
There he goes. 3-2 is fought off. Encarnacion getting the start at first base. Back to Bieber at first.
Roy just ate up a very good fastball hitter with location, not velocity. It's the location. Duffy actually swung at ball 4, but fought it off like he was being attacked by a swarm of bees right there. It's one thing Kevin Cash didn't count on, the weak pop-up and the automatic double play.
G-Man Choi, the batter, on the first pitch, stings this to the gap in left center field. This gets all the way near the base of the wall. Choi stands up with a 2-out double. Well, look at the rest of that defense as Brandon Guyer gets to start tonight in center field. Just his second start there this season. Brantley left, Cabrera in right, not a ton of range. Elsewhere for the Indians, Ramirez, of course, the starting third baseman of the All-Star game once again this season. Lindor at short, Gonzalez for Kipnis at second base, Encarnacion manning first base, and Yan Gomes doing the catching as usual for the Indians. 2 outs, a man in scoring position for Tommy Pham. Rides this out to Guyer in center. He's drifting back, nearing the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch. Well, not much time for Guyer out there in center field, but he hauls it in, and that ends the top of the first. Alone.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's anybody in baseball throwing the ball better right now than Blake Snell. The month of August, 5 starts. In his worst start, gave up 1 run. That's how good he's been. 98 on the first pitch. So one thing, since he came off the DL, Aaron, his velocity has ticked up a mile, maybe a little bit more than that. Had been living around 95, and hadn't seen 98s.
That's the last thing opposing hitters wanted to know about Snell, that he could get better, and this time he touches 97.
Well, now it's time to throw the breaking ball. I think his overhand curve is the best in the business. He loves to throw it down and in to right-handers. Right there.
3 pitches, all strikes. 1 down.
Well, this pitch is unhittable, and I mean that literally. This season, when he gets his curveball down the glove side, hitters do not have a hit the entire season. 0 for 22. That's the put-away pitch.
Now the rest of Terry Francona's lineup: Michael Brantley digging in, a 3-time All-Star, having a very good season, batting over 300. Of course, Jose Ramirez, third of the majors in home runs. Yandy Diaz gets a start DHing tonight. Eric Gonzalez batting in the number 9 spot, starts at second base for Kipnis.
Brantley, the lone lefty in the Cleveland lineup against Blake Snell. And you can see why after just seeing one of those big overhand curveballs. It is a nightmare matchup for a lefty.
Now the left-on-left numbers for Snell this year are vicious. 128 the average, and as you can imagine, barely even a touch of power against Snell. Lefties have 7 extra base hits against Snell this season.
Well, you can see why. The velocity, first of all, will jump out at you. You don't see many starting pitchers left-handed throwing 98.
This is dropping to Pham and in for a base hit. Like we were saying, left on left, 128.
Well, that guy, you talk about a professional hitter. Nobody, no lefty keeps their front side in as well as Michael Brantley against righties or lefties. Sounded like he broke his bat, but because he stayed on the ball, got himself a base hit.
You just saw Pham at left. Kiermaier covers about as much room as anybody else in center field. Elsewhere, Duffy at third base. Adames, the young man, with Wendell up the middle. Jake Bauers, another rookie, at first base, and Jesus Sucre, longtime big league backup, getting the start once again here tonight for Tampa Bay. 1 out, 1 aboard for Jose Ramirez. Numbers have cooled somewhat in the second half for Ramirez, who had an absolutely monster first half. And even though the month of August, the average was lower than what you'd expect for Ramirez, the on-base percentage was right there, nearly 400. He'll still take his walks.
Well, this is the certain matchups, Aaron, going into a game I really circle and look forward to. This is it for me. Snell, Cy Young candidate. Ramirez, MVP candidate. And the way to get him out is to stay soft. You're seeing here, right here with Snell. Jose just destroys fastballs. 322 and 31 homers off fastballs. Off breaking balls, 207. I think he stays soft here throughout the at-bat.
And some damage in the first inning this year for Ramirez as well. One and two.
Curveball, changeup, changeup. When you're geared up knowing he's got 98 and he still has the same arm speed on a changeup that's 10, 11 miles an hour slower, that's where you get the swings and misses.
Brantley taken off, cut on and missed. Sucre can't hold on to it. Brantley in at second base. His 9th this year, 2 outs. 2 outs and a man at second. Your Ford keys to the game, Tom.
Well, we lost the great Aretha Franklin. And by the way, she was a 1987 inductee at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right here in Cleveland. So as a tribute to Aretha for the Rays, break it to me gently. Break means the break on that breaking ball. You just saw another one put away Ramirez. And for the Indians, who's zooming who? You saw Brantley run there. I think you have to do that against Snell. You can get some bags against Snell if you're playing to string hits together. Forget it. It's not going to work. This guy's given up about 5 hits per 9 innings, Aaron. So to play for a rally, it's just not going to happen. So anytime you can move up 90 feet, as Brantley did there, and he's not a base stealer, you do it.
Now they lead the majors in steals. Go ahead, run in scoring position for the Indians. Encarnacion, 29 home runs at the plate. Shift is on. Almost got him. Now, was that a 91-mile-an-hour slider? Is that what that was?
Is that legal?
See the spray chart
see how
here.
much of a pull hitter the defense will tell you that as well. But he's been seeing the ball very well recently. I know first base is open here. There's 2 outs. No reason, even if you're Snell with his stuff, to give in right here. And he went to the change 2-0.
And Encarnacion, a home run shy of his 7th consecutive 30-homer season. Homered last night. Beautiful night, 86 degrees here in Cleveland.
Spectacular shot right there.
The 3-0. 4-pitch walk. Looking around Encarnacion, 2 outs and 2 on.
Yeah, I think that is a tribute to the way he's been swinging the bat. The report on Snell, well, the steep angle, you've seen it if you notice here, straight over the top delivery, so he's got extra tilt on the fastball and the curveball, and that curveball, that's why I call him Captain Hook. Again, I don't think anybody throws it better. Hitters are 114 against that. And risky business, runners in scoring position. I know, Aaron, we can find a lot of great numbers on Blake Snell. How about this? Batters this year are hitting .068, 7 for 103 in these spots against Blake Snell.
Well, it's up to Yandy Diaz, DH. Sucre comes out. It looked like in between batters there, Snell was maybe working with some kind of mechanic issue. You could see him kind of trying to gesture to himself a little bit. That's 5 straight pitches that have missed.
Yeah, I know the Indian scouting report on Blake. He's cleaned up his delivery a little bit, his mechanics to repeat it better. But he still has a walk or 2 in him. Here's the numbers on this. Check this. All time, since 1920 actually, since the live ball era began. Right now he's on pace to be the toughest pitcher to hit ever in these situations.
It's not particularly close. 2 on, 2 out. The 1-0. 1-1. Now Diaz just 50 at bats this year. 27 years old, out of Cuba, made his big league debut last year with the Indians.
And he's a guy who handles velocity well by hitting it the other way. And you see the way they defend him. Center field, Kiermaier playing him like a left-handed pull hitter. Infield pretty much straight away.
Evens it up, 2-2.
Big call right here that goes Snell's way. Sucre very quiet with his hands behind the plate. And I think the catcher helped steal a strike for him right there. This should be the curveball down and in.
Both runners taken off. Brantley to third. Encarnacion into second.
These are good base runners, not necessarily base stealers. You see Brantley has seen enough pitches at second base to know he's got Snell time. And he knows with 2 strikes and 2 outs on the batter, Snell is locked in on strike 3, not the base runners. Heads up, base running. Puts pressure on Sucre here to make sure he blocks it if he goes to that breaking ball in the dirt again.
Time call. Next pitch, number 20 for Snell here in this first inning. Here comes the payoff. Bauer's chasing over. Wendell is there as well. And the fight is on. Who's got it? Not Wendell. It's Lau in right field. That was close. And the catch made. That's through the first pitch from Bieber. It's been another season for Kiermaier with a pretty significant injury. Just 2 months. Was here a thumb injury, put him on the DL.
Yeah, the injuries and a little bit of regression offensively. You know how good he is defensively, but these are the situations here with 2 strikes where he tends to lose the strike zone.
And he's rung up, caught looking. 3 pitches, all strikes. Ken Rosenthal is with us here tonight. He's down to the field, and Ken, apparently the Indians have added a new player. Is that right?
They have, Aaron. His name is Josh Donaldson, and now that he is an Indian, Jose Ramirez is going to start taking grounders at second. Jason Kipnis is going to prepare to play the outfield, but neither of those moves is going to happen right away. Donaldson had to be certified as healthy in order to get traded, but the reality is he's played only 2 minor league rehab games since his last major league appearance on May 28th. So chances are he's going to need to go right back on the DL for a minimum of 10 days after the Indians evaluate him, go right back on another minor league rehab assignment. The Indians are going to want to make sure that he can play third base consistently before they start moving pieces all around. And Ramirez has made it clear to them he does not want to shuffle back and forth. Guys?
Yeah, Ramirez, who the Indians feel is a brilliant second baseman, even better than he is at third. It's not like they're moving him to a position that is a weakness. It really kind of feels like a lottery ticket, Donaldson, doesn't it? This is up the middle, a 1-out base hit. And Donaldson could end up being a major factor down the run, or his calf, his shoulder. You don't know.
Yeah, it's the luxury they have of a lead to take a chance with that lottery ticket and move a guy like Ramirez, who's obviously an MVP candidate in a pennant race. But this is why you do it, because of the upside of Josh Donaldson. I mean, if they have a healthy Josh Donaldson? Wow, does that deepen the lineup. But Ken, you made a good point that Francona went to Ramirez, and they wouldn't have made this deal unless Ramirez sort of signed on and said, hey, I can go to second, I just don't want to go back and forth. My question for you, Ken, is what about Jason Kipnis? Because obviously he will be displaced off of second base. We know he's been moved to the outfield in previous years. What's his playing time going to look like?
That's a really good question, Tom. And Terry Francona told us before the game that if Kipnis is going to play center field, he's going to have to be their best option on a given day. And let's face it, he's not a natural out there. Greg Allen has played very well defensively. So this could lead to a significant loss of playing time for Kipnis, and we'll see how that plays out.
We'll see.
And he's standing right next to me, and he just yelled out, we'll see.
Guest commentator, Jason Kipnis. Thanks for chiming in.
Well, Kipnis, of course, this comes at a time where Kipnis is swinging as hot of a bat as he has all season. 2-1 now on Bowers, batting with 1 out and 1 on.
Yeah, Terry Francona telling us that he's not comfortable in right field, Kipnis. And I'm with Ken. It's difficult to think that he would be their best option defensively in center field because they're not that strong on the corners defensively in the outfield. But in the best case scenario, and Jason might not like it, but if Donaldson comes back and is healthy.
Adames taken off, slides, throws in there. Plenty of time well ahead. He's cut down for the 4th time. And Gomes, one of the best behind the plate.
That was an easy one for Gomes back there. It looked like maybe, let's see, it's such a bad jump. Yeah, that's a hit and run. Somebody missed a sign there. You see a runner with a jump that late and also peeking in on the first few steps. That's not a lead, a jump, and a look of someone trying to steal a bag. That's someone who thinks the hit and run is on.
Lindor on the receiving end. 2 outs now, nobody aboard. And a full count to Bowers.
You know, just to complete my thought, Aaron, if Donaldson is healthy and he's playing third on a regular basis, Ramirez at second, and Kipnis will get some run in center field, but if he's not, man, that is a good left-handed bat on your bench. You get in a postseason environment and you see great right-handed relief pitching. I like having Kipnis in my pocket to fire that bullet in a run-scoring situation.
Of course, it's interesting how things work out. The Indians went out and at the deadline, they got a center fielder. They got Leonis Martin from the Tigers, who played in only 6 games for the Indians and played well in that short period of time, but very serious infection has ended Martin's season. Now Bowers is out number 3. you've got a life. You got a Swiffer. And by Progressive Home Insurance, getting a quote is easier than ever. Happy to have you with us here in Cleveland, Ohio. Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal. Indians and the Rays scoreless, moving to the bottom of the second. Brandon Guyer leading things off for the Indians, looking at ball one.
Well, with Blake Snell on the mound, Terry Francona told us he got as many hitters, especially right-handed, in his lineup today. Not defense in mind, offense in mind against Mr. Snell. And you saw Guyer. I wouldn't say he's a prototypical center fielder. Just hang with that ball in the first inning. He caught right in front of the wall.
2-1 now. Making only a second start in center field this season. Now, for as much as Guyer's numbers would suggest that he has struggled this year, of course, he's batting beneath 200. OPS pushing 830 against lefties, although this is not your typical lefty. This is hooking down the line and hooks into the corner, foul. 2-2. All right, back to that catch. Guyer, the natural center fielder, feeling for the wall.
Yeah, he's not familiar with the real estate out there. He thought he was running out of room earlier than he actually did. Hey, but the ball wound up in his glove. That's all that counts.
That is all that counts. Shane Bieber happy about it. Look at Tito's face. 2-2 now. Just missing inside. It was a little bit of a rocky road in that first inning for Snell. 20 pitches, stranded a pair of runners in scoring position. Low backhand, and Duffy long throw. Bowers can't hold on to it. Guyer into second, headlong slide, and he's safe.
Yeah, that was one of those in-between hops that Bowers couldn't pick at first base. I'm not sure he had the glove open enough to make it stick in there. That's a tough play, though, on the backhand. That in-between hop, and it hit dirt rather than grass. You'd rather have it either farther out or closer to you on the bounce. That was the in-between one.
So the air puts Guyer in scoring position. Second straight inning. The Indians have had a runner in scoring position against Snell. Now facing Melky Cabrera. Swinging a very hot bat since the break. Nearly 315. Oh, 1.
You watch that swing. He has a very interesting way of gripping the bat and swinging the bat. Very strong bottom hand hitter. His top hand is on the bat very lightly. All the way back in the fingers. He never really gets it deep into the hand. You see how loose it is in the top hand. It's a very bottom hand dominant swing. And that's why he can hit the high fastball.
Out towards the gap in center. Kiermaier was ranging the other way. Guyer coming around third to score. Melky Cabrera drives in a run and has given the Indians a 1-0 lead in the second.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Getting on top of even 97. The high fastball. Such a strong bottom hand that he keeps it flat through the zone. If you're swinging uphill, there's no way you get that pitch. You see, even the follow through is lower than most hitters. And that is something you've seen for only the 8th time all year. A base hit against Blake Snell with a runner in scoring position. That calls for a conference on the mound, Aaron.
Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach. I don't think Snell is this used to this much company early on. Of course, we had the visit from Sucre in the first inning. Now Snyder, the pitching coach, in the second inning.
Well, he's not used to this much traffic. I know that. He's facing a team that is the best in the league at making contact. The Cleveland Indians. And they are, to me, the kind of rally team you don't see much of anymore in today's game. Not so much home run walk dependent, but contact dependent.
Nobody out, a run in, and Cabrera at second base for the catcher Yan Gomes. Now the numbers for Snell this year have been absurd, and especially recently. You look at his last 10 starts and he has an ERA of 1 1/4, and he's allowed more than 1 run 1 time in that span. He's allowed a run here in the second, dealing with a man right behind him.
Well, that run you talked about, Aaron, has put him in right in the middle of the Cy Young Award race. Now, I think it may be difficult because of the volume of his work being on the DL. He's 40 innings behind Corey Kluber, and I never rule out Mr. Kluber, but especially when the workload has that much of a difference, it's hard to make that up.
Kluber in search for what would be his 3rd Cy Young Award. As you take a look at how the American League Cy Young is looking down the stretch, you see Kluber and Snell. Severino has not pitched as well recently as earlier, and Sale injured. This has been a theme for Sale down the final stretch, especially recently, last couple of seasons, and then Bauer also on the disabled list.
Yeah, Sale is your leader in the clubhouse, I think, but as you mentioned, being on the DL has put that in question.
Dave Dombrowski was saying that he was hoping that Sale would get at least a couple of starts before the regular season comes to a close. Would a couple of starts be enough?
Yeah, I'm assuming, though, Aaron, that those might be even truncated starts. There's really no reason for the Red Sox to push into a high pitch count deep into a game, so maybe there's only a matter of, what, 12 to 15 more innings.
Snell's 3-1. Full count.
Boy, he's shown a great changeup so far. Fastball command, he's been fighting a little bit, but we saw the 3-2 changeup to Geyer, and now the 3-1 here to get the swing and miss.
Shot out and slicing away from Tommy Pham off the base of the wall. Cabrera scores with ease. It's another RBI double, this time off the bat of Yan Gomes, and the Indians lead Blake Snell to the Rays 2-0.
That's 2 batters in a row that have turned around the fastball of Blake Snell. And he tapped his chest to say, my bad. He's trying to get that in, didn't get it in enough. Great job by Gomes, making sure he gets the hands in enough to get the barrel on the inside heater at 97. Folks, this is not unusual to see these swings against, or it is unusual to see these swings against Blake Snell. Solid contact by Cleveland.
Gonzalez pops it right to Sucre. That did not go according to plan. 1 out.
Not at all. I guess maybe he's bunting for a base hit there, but you got a pitcher fighting himself on the mound right now. You just handed him an out.
One out, Gomes at second. Back at the top of the order here is Francisco Lindor. Awfully tough to find a better man to lead off your order than this man. Francisco Lindor leads the majors in runs, and he has crushed lefties this year. Gold glove defense and a ton of pop too. Home run shy of number 30. And back to the double by Gomes. Take a look at it through StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
Exit velo over 100. A higher launch angle, that's out of the park. But That, again, is solid contact against a pitcher who's been just lights out his last 5 starts.
Really dials down the curve. 1-2.
I'd go right back to that pitch. That pitch is so good. Blake Snell can tell you that it's coming. Curveball down and in. And one reason it's so effective is because he's got that high release point. That ball has tremendous downward break to it.
And he does. Lindor slams the bat. Sucre completes a strikeout. 2 outs. Now follow the Rays to the postseason on MLB.TV for $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this limited time offer.
And Frankie got upset at himself because it's out of the strike zone, but I think it just tells you how difficult it is to track that curveball because it just keeps coming down at your feet as a right-handed hitter. It wasn't that he was surprised, it's just that it doesn't quit breaking.
Now Brantley got a hit off of Snell his first time up. Dropped a single into left field. 2 outs. Gomes at second after the RBI double. This will be another 20-pitch inning for Snell.
Yeah, they've made it work, and so far, Brantley's hit, all 3 hits in this game have come off fastballs from Snell. And here's what I'm talking about, the high release point right over the top. Look how much drop there is to this pitch. You know, hitters just do not see the downward plane like that. If you're talking about a release point on a curveball, it's the 2nd highest in baseball. Jim Johnson, relief pitcher with the Angels, is the only one with a release point that high. So as a hitter, you're seeing the ball coming from a different area with more downward break. It's an outlier.
Gomes remains at second. A 1-1 to Brantley. Cracked into center and in front of Kiermaier. Gomes being waved in. Kiermaier's throw coming home. Strong as a missile. And Gomes is outstanding at home plate. What a hose by Kiermaier in center field to end the second.
Gomes is saying, where did that come from? It came from a Gold Glove center fielder who's got a cannon for an arm. Wow.
The catcher Jesus Sucre begins it. Bieber working with a little bit of run support. This is with a first pitch fastball. Popped up softly and foul. 1-1 strike to Sucre.
You know, Aaron, watching Shane Bieber pitch, you know, I said his fastball is sort of average in terms of velo, but there's more there with him. And I actually prefer pitchers who develop velocity later the way he has, rather than you see these high school kids at 78.
This is slicing into right field. Cabrera flags it down.
We're seeing high school kids at 98 get drafted in the first round at 17, and their bodies aren't equipped to be throwing that hard. A low octane, I said, remember, low spin, low velocity, but as long as it's low in the zone, that's a good fastball. We talked about his pinpoint accuracy. 5 walks in his last 5 starts. And double digits when it comes to pitch counts, you can pretty much forget about that. He's hit triple digits once in his 14 starts. But this is a guy in high school in California, went out on the showcase circuit, throwing 84. You're not going to get a lot of scholarships throwing 84. Well, he walked on at UC Santa Barbara and developed velocity. And he said developing velocity and pitching in high school with less than extreme velocity was a blessing, because he learned what to do in terms of locating the ball, changing speeds, everything that some guys have to learn late when they lose velocity. He learned early.
Oh, 2 to Lau.
In the minor leagues, he had 260 strikeouts and 19 walks. I mean, that's just crazy. You don't see out of a young pitcher these days.
Now, to your point, Tom, there's no real skill in this game that is being taught more than velocity right now.
No doubt.
But I think a lot of people would assume that once you get even midway up through the minors, that your days of being able to throw harder have probably come to a close. But you're saying that's not the case? You can actually add velocity even once you get to this level?
There's no doubt about that. I mean, listen, as you get into your 30s and beyond, velocity, unless you're Nolan Ryan, is a diminishing skill. But in terms of what you can do with your mechanics, especially your core training, strength training, we've learned a lot about being able to add. I'm not talking about 10 miles an hour, but, you know, a tick here and there. And I could see Bieber being one of those guys who can add. Again, I don't think he's going to be a 98, but a mid-90s guy, big, strong guy who works hard, studies the game really well.
I thought the only way to add velocity was to go pitch for the Astros. Aren't they the kings of it?
They got the secret.
They got the secret.
That and spin. They can spin the ball too. It's not just velo.
They spin it better than anybody. 2 outs. Wendell, who singled earlier. 0-2.
And you get to see the Rays against Bieber. They're ready to swing the bat. I mean, it's not a matter of waiting for walks here or driving up a pitch count. It's be ready, be in swing mode, because he's going to be around the plate.
Again, foul. Wendell now a 7-game hitting streak with that leadoff single to begin the ball game tonight. Former draft pick by the Indians in 2012, then traded over to the A's in exchange for Brandon Moss. They appeal down to third base. It does not go. Alfonso Marquez, third base umpire tonight. Weak tapper. Tough play. Bare hand Ramirez, and it's in time to first base. What an impressive play. And that ends the top of the third. See if Kevin Cash wants to challenge this.
He called it, Aaron. That was a very impressive play. When the ball's moving that fast, it's hard to make this play cleanly and then make an accurate throw. They got him.
I see him.
Jose Ramirez leads off the bottom of the third. The 0-1 pitch through the left side. Ramirez 1 for 2. Moments ago during the inning break, Ken Rosenthal and I had a chance to catch up with pitching coach Kyle Snyder of the Rays.
Kyle, Blake Snell's so good of late. What have you seen tonight?
He's really just coming to his own this year. I mean, it started last year, the last 10 starts of last year. He picked up right where he left off. You know, spring training was eye-catching for sure. A little inconsistent in April, but he's really settled in, you know, from May to this point, and he's had a tremendous season.
What about tonight? What's the difference?
A little bit, you know, he needs to attack a little bit more. You know, he's fallen behind. I think he's ahead of 5 of 11 faced. He needs to be ahead of a few more than that, I think, to this point. But, you know, I'm looking for an adjustment right now. We talked a little bit about it in the half inning, and I'm expecting to see it here.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Well, speaking of getting ahead of hitters, he falls behind Encarnacion 1-0. A lot of pitches early, though, for Snell.
Yeah, I'd agree with his pitching coach there. I think he needs to get into attack mode more, and I think that was the purpose of the mound visit.
Quickly skipping out to Adames from a knee. Now out at first in a double play. Got to Adames quickly.
Yeah, looked like the changeup down in a good spot to a pull hitter. You know, Snell trying to conserve some pitches this inning based on the workload of the first 2, and that certainly helps.
Yes, it does. 2 outs, nobody aboard for Diaz. .97 on the hands, 0-1. Now, when Edwin Encarnacion was somewhat recently on the disabled list, it was Diaz who filled in his spot at DH. He is DHing tonight as Encarnacion is at first. Snell ahead.
And it's the second time we've seen Sucre make sure that that pitch outside, kind of that 50-50 ball, goes the Rays' way.
Breaking ball in the dirt.
You've seen it time and time again. That one, he just bounced a little too early, but the 2-strike curveball. That's the put-away pitch. Let's see if he doubles up on it here. Diaz likes velocity away. Let's stay away from there.
He goes back to it, but it misses.
That's a really good take. See if he goes back to the challenge fastball in. No, the changeup. Shook the change. I think the pitch here is the fastball in.
He freezes him. Diaz caught looking. 4 strikeouts now for Snell. Bieber climbs back on top of the mound. The Indians lead the Rays 2-0. Game 1 of the series last night, going to Cleveland and back of Corey Kluber. There's Matt Duffy to lead things off, going after the first pitch. You can see the season average for Duffy. It has been a little bit more of a struggle since the All-Star break. He's batting beneath 250 in the second half. Jammed him before, jammed him here.
Yeah, why not go back there? This is one of the better fastball hitters in the American League, Matt Duffy. And he's one of a couple of players on this Rays team that likes to get in batting cage against the high velocity pitching machine. They set it up as fast as it can crank. It's 100 plus, and it's only about 45, 50 feet away.
Bounced way in front of home plate.
The idea is train your eyes and hands against extreme velocity, and game speed slows down. I know in Houston, Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve are big proponents of that pregame preparation, getting in there against high velo.
Oh, this looks like slow pitch softball now.
That's the idea, but was the average fastball now the big leagues is what, 93? There you go. That's some pretty good company right there. J.D. Martinez, Mookie Betts, Giancarlo Stanton, and Matt Duffy.
Still 2-2.
But very rarely will you see Shane Bieber leave one of those fastballs middle. So good about moving it around the strike zone, in and out, up and down.
Encarnacion down to his knees. Gets to Bieber in time. 1 out. During the inning break, Ken catching up with Tito.
Terry, you told us before the game that you yourself was eager to see Blake Snell. What have made you guys so successful?
I mean, he's got all the pitches. He's got velocity, he's got changeup, he's got a breaking ball. So far, we've had pretty good at-bats against him. There's a long way to go, obviously, but he's pretty special.
Josh Donaldson arriving. He said that sometimes being uncomfortable is okay, not necessarily wrong. How difficult will all this be for you to manage?
Well, I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on his health. If his health is good, it's not going to be difficult. You know, I mean, we had some conversations today with guys that, you know, sometimes it's not a lot of fun delivering news that guys don't want to hear. But this has got a chance to make us better, and that's what we're here for.
Terry, thanks a lot.
You got it, Kenny.
It'll be very interesting to see how everything plays out with Donaldson.
It really is, and thanks for Tito and Kyle Snyder on the other side for doing the in-game interviews, and really a good look, I think, from a manager's perspective, Aaron, about being uncomfortable. I like that idea because obviously it's taken some at-bats away from Jason Kipnis if Donaldson is healthy. And the manager also said Donaldson has to play virtually every day. He doesn't want him to be a part-time player. And he's not going to get DH at bats as well. So this move is entirely dependent on Josh Donaldson's health as an everyday player, not just as an available bat.
Choi plugs this out to the gap in left center. One hops the wall. Geyer taken with the bare hand. Man, Choi 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles.
And that's a great job keeping the hands back and sinking into his legs on a breaking ball. To buy yourself more time on a breaking ball there, you just delay the swing slightly. The way you do that is you sink a little bit into your legs to make sure your hands stay back. It's all right. We got tailors for that, G-Man. We'll take care of it. Love the hustle.
So Choi at second with 1 out. It brings up Tommy Pham. Tying run for the Rays at the plate here in the 4th inning. And, you know, as we say hello to Ken once again, you know, Ken, one of my biggest questions regarding Donaldson is, we talk all the time about the calf and what he's been rehabbing, but how well can he throw from third base to first base? Because this was absolutely a problem for Donaldson earlier this year.
It certainly was. He went on the disabled list for a time with right shoulder inflammation. And who knows how that's going to play out, and who knows if it was even all physical. Getting back to what Francona said about being uncomfortable and how it can be okay. We know, guys, that can be true in any walk of life, in any aspect. And for the Indians, with this 14-game lead, the fact that there's going to be a little bit of edginess now, maybe not such a bad thing.
I think that's an interesting point, because this is an Indians team that, whether they will admit it or not, they could just coast, and they could have coasted for months at this point to their 3rd straight division title. And you look at their numbers, Tom, against teams that are in it versus teams that are out of it, and it's a stark contrast. And let's face it, their whole division is out of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've beat up on inside their division plenty this year and struggled against winning teams. I wouldn't put too much stock in that, because just talent for talent, 1 through 25, this team can play with anybody. And as I said, the way their offense is built with the switch hitters and contact hitters, I like this in a postseason environment, this team. And a healthy Donaldson, wow, the Indians can dream on that. If that's the best case scenario, that plays out.
Pham down swinging.
All right.
Second strikeout for Bieber. Here comes Kevin Kiermaier. How about this play from Kiermaier in center?
Oh man, he's going to embarrass his pitcher Blake Snell by throwing a rocket at 100.6 miles per hour. My goodness, I know we have the air show in town this weekend. This is one of the jet fighters right here. Vroom.
Well, the palms up look from Gomes right there is the best at the end.
Well, I know you want to be aggressive with 2 outs, setting the runner, but that is Kiermaier, and you did have Ramirez on deck.
0-1 to the center fielder.
Those are one of those plays as a center fielder, and you've got an arm like Kiermaier. You're hoping the third base coach sends the runner. He had that thing lined up perfectly. Please run on me. Got him.
Choi is out at second. Gomes showing off an arm as well. Former Ray, Brandon Guyer, made his big league debut with Tampa Bay back in 2011. Parts of 5 years in the majors with the Rays. He'll lead things off for the Indians. Fights this off, a little looper. Wendell chasing after it, can't make the catch. We've seen some great defense here tonight, almost the makings of another spectacular play, but Guyer is aboard, a little flare single.
Oh, great effort, 97 on the hand, just fights it off. The only shot was Wendell, and just barely misses it right here.
Leadoff man aboard for Melky Cabrera, an RBI double to the second. Guyer taking off, swing and a miss. Sucre to second. Wendell the tag, and they got him. Guyer disagrees. Sucre, a very good arm behind the plate.
Yeah, this is, you try to run on Snell. I said coming in that this is part of the game plan by the Indians. Guyer thought the tag missed him. It looked like Wendell's glove did get him on the shin. Yep. I mean, I like pushing the envelope. Now, if I'm Cleveland again, they've strung some hits together, but 80% stolen base success rate against Snell this year. You lead the league in stolen bases. Why not?
So that leadoff single eraser now 0-2 on Cabrera.
By the way, the Indians lead the major leagues in stolen bases. They have never done that in their history.
They've been around a while. Up towards right field. One out single for Cabrera. How about the plays behind the plate for Yan Gomes tonight?
Yeah, this was a blown hit and run. Says thank you very much. And this is just a tremendous visual right here by the catcher. You can see Shohei getting lost out there at second base. You don't see guys get picked off much in the big leagues, Aaron, but they tend to be the guys who are slow, because they're the ones who try to cheat on those secondary leads to try to score on a base hit.
Choice had a nice night at the plate. A couple of doubles were picked up there. Time called. Gomes an RBI double earlier tonight. .260 on the season, but a .300 hitter against lefties, and an OPS pushing .900 against southpaws.
You know, one reason you can run on Snell, when he comes set in the delivery, his feet are parallel. You see where the toes both pointing to first base? To quicken up, and listen, you want to shave a tenth of a second off. Normally you'd have the toes of the front foot pointed back towards second base slightly, because you're going to have to do that once the leg comes up anyway. I know that sounds like a very small thing, Aaron, but you know the coaches they get stopwatches on the pitchers, and it's down to literally tenths of second. It's really a math equation whether to run or not. I know that's something the Rays will work on with Tyler Glasnow at 6'8". Takes him a while to unfold the home plate. Right now they're not too worried about him holding runners, but see the feet are parallel. You just turn it back a little bit, it'll quicken you up.
Lau in right field, Kemp's underneath it, 2 down. Now, Tuesday night baseball is on FS1. Catch Mike Trout and the Angels. They take on the Texas Rangers. Coverage begins Tuesday 7 Eastern on FS1, or you can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Shohei Ohtani scheduled to pitch, Tom, to pitch tomorrow.
I can't wait. I mean, it's must-see TV, right? I almost feel cheated that he's been out this long with the tear in the UCL. I'm telling you, I thought it was the most underappreciated story the first half of the season when he was doing both.
Here's Eric Gonzalez. Well, his splitter was as close to unhittable as any pitch in the majors when he was healthy. Of course, had the UCL injury, no Tommy John. Trying to get him back as soon as possible, and they will see how things look for Ohtani tomorrow when he's on the mound for Mike Scioscia. Just foul. 1-1.
Okay, guys, I wrote this week that if Shohei Ohtani comes back and succeeds as a pitcher, should he be a Rookie of the Year candidate? And my hypothesis was yes. Yankee fans, of course, reacted on Twitter with their typical.
No, they would not. They would not do that, Ken.
Really?
I know how it goes, but I was wondering, Tom, what do you think?
Well, he's definitely a Rookie of the Year candidate. I know the volume of the work will not be there compared to Miguel Andujar, maybe even Gleyber Torres. But the fact that he's doing something that hasn't been done since Babe Ruth, talking about a starting pitcher who hits home runs in between starts, that's under the special accomplishment category. Just think about this. This is somebody who throws the ball as hard as Luis Severino and hits the ball as hard as Aaron Judge. I mean, that's not a Rookie of the Year candidate. And again, I give all the credit to the volume, the everyday work, especially Andujar is putting up crazy numbers. But I'm not going to dismiss Ohtani because his work has been truncated with the injury.
2-2 on Gonzalez.
What do you think, Aaron? I mean, you've seen him a lot in the West.
Sure. Well, he is incredible. And he's, as a side note to all the numbers you put out there, he is a really good runner, too.
Yes. And a big guy.
He is a big guy, and he can pedal. I mean, that was one of the most surprising things to me. We had heard about the power, and we'd heard obviously about the splitter and the fastball. This chops out to Duffy, angles back. The short way to Wendell. I think the other two Yankees that you referenced are going to be tough to catch. If you've got a life, you got a Swiffer. And by Subway, make it what you want. Well, tonight, the middle game of the series, Indians and Tampa Bay Rays. Well, Shane Bieber has faced the minimum each of the last 3 innings and gets a weak wave and a miss from Kevin Kiermaier, who was stranded at the plate in the top of the 4th when Ji-Man Choi is picked off at second.
Yeah, that swing on that pitch, indication of his struggles. You're taking a swing at a first pitch curveball, and it's as if you got fooled. And this is a guy hitting a $195 on first pitches. You should be hitting well over 300 when you decide to swing at first pitches.
Now Kiermaier sees 3 pitches and strikes out for the second time. Well, Ken, as you can see right there in Kevin Kiermaier, there is an addition to the uniforms on both sides tonight.
That's right, guys. The gold wristbands that you're seeing on players, coaches, umpires, even grounds crew members, that's in recognition of Childhood Cancer Awareness Day. And this is the first day of September, which is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is an MLB promotion, all ballparks today, and it's obviously a great cause. Childhood cancer, the leading cause of death by disease in children aged 15 and under in the U.S.
Well, obviously nice of Major League Baseball to recognize and support that.
It's great that MLB does a terrific job now and some other causes throughout the year of using their platform, such public visibility on such worthy causes.
Jim Wolf, our home plate umpire, doing a little housekeeping.
Yeah, he's giving Thomas a little time here after he fouled that ball off his foot.
One out, nobody on, top of the 5th. barely gets a piece. 1-2. Well, Adames was one of baseball's top prospects entering this season, not just within the race system, but in all the game. And what an entry he had into the big leagues. He homered off of Chris Sale in his big league debut earlier this year. That was back in May at home inside Tropicana Field.
Well, a couple of things have changed for him. They traded Danny Echeverria and opened up shortstop full time for him. And you see how hot he's been since then, the end of August.
It's rung up here, back-to-back strikeouts.
And the other part, Aaron, is what he's done with his swing and his setup in his swing. He gets himself ready much earlier. This is earlier in the season on the left. That's pretty much on ball release. He's just trying to be too quick because he gets started late. Now you're going to see him almost with an Arenado-like toe tap first. Gets the leg up early. That's what I like about him. He's getting himself set earlier in the sequence. That's allowed him to be much more on time. And right there, Bieber just painted that fastball.
Bieber struck out the last 3 hitters going back to the 4th inning. Now faces Jake Bauers. And Bauers had a hard line out to short his last at bat, which hopefully for Bauers and the Rays is a sign of good things to come. He's 3 for his last 53. Made his major league debut earlier this year, was one of the Rays' top prospects. Last 53 at bats, 24 strikeouts. Spans nearly 20 games. You know, for most guys, especially if you are a prospect, you are not used to looking up at that board and seeing 200 next to your name.
No, you've done nothing but hit your whole life. He's got good pop, but he's had no extra base hits in his last 90 times to the plate. And Jim Wolf has been calling those pitches on the outside corner. We've seen Snell get those calls, and Bieber gets one right there.
Bieber's 2-2. Full count.
By the way, make sure when you see Bieber throw a ball down the middle, alert me. I've been waiting for one. So are the Rays. I haven't seen one yet.
The payoff. Well, this is sliced into left field, rolling for a while. How about an extra base hit here, Tom?
It's been a while. Why not?
Coast in with a 2-out double. The rookie Jake Bauers is aboard with 2 outs.
That feels good. Fastball away. Not a bad pitch. This is a better piece of hitting right there. You can see why the Rays like that swing.
Oh, Ken Moore on Jake Bauers.
Well, Tom is right. The Rays like the swing. They like the player overall. They see him as a high on base guy going forward. Maybe not a lot of home runs, maybe not a high slugging percentage. But in addition to that, he'll give you a lot of athleticism at first base. He can run very well for first baseman. He can be part of their next core.
Sucre out to Cabrera into right field for out number 3. So that double by Bauers left stranded. Indians, former MVP of the American League, Josh Donaldson inside the Tribe's dugout.
I'm getting used to the look, the visual there. Donaldson in Indians uniform.
Well, the Blue Jays on their upcoming road trip will be headed to where else but Toronto.
He's technically on the active roster. We will not see him tonight. He's not healthy enough right now to play Major League Baseball, but technically on the active roster. Wearing number 27, by the way. You see on the sweatshirt there. Number 20 not available here.
Well, this is smoke to Bowers. Now number 1.
Notice that's retired for Frank Robinson, number 20. And earlier I saw Edwin Encarnacion, his former teammate. And let me tell you, those guys get along famously. There's Edwin right there. Not just because they're teammates. To me, they are hitting rats. We both love to break down the game scientifically, break down pitching. That's the bonus you get with Josh, to me. When he's playing well, there's no doubt one of the best hitters in the game. But Aaron, I think he's the kind of guy who makes hitters around him better because of his knowledge and intensity when it comes to the art and science of hitting. Renewing acquaintances right there with his former Jays teammate. And I saw a similar effect when I saw the Cubs recently with Daniel Murphy. Great hitters who love to just talk hitting and share their knowledge. Yeah, there's value behind and beyond the numbers they put up.
Apparently 2 for 2 so far tonight against Snell.
You know, the Indians tell me that Edwin is as good as they have in terms of deciphering a pitcher. If there's any tells, he's giving pitches away. If there's patterns that he picks up, the work that he puts in just studying pitchers, they think he is a guru when it comes to that side of the game.
Well, it's easy to forget on Donaldson when he really had his ascension up towards that before he was an MVP, but when he really became the guy in Oakland. I mean, this is the time a young man who was a catcher, and it was through injury got his break to try his hand a little bit more regularly at third base, and the rest was history.
Swing change, Aaron.
And then there's that too.
You know, that's not all of it. A big part of it, you can ask Josh, he'd tell you himself. He sat down and studied Albert Pujols, slowed everything down. He said, I just realized everything I thought I knew about hitting was wrong. And really began from scratch and rebuilt his swing. And he does something I just showed you with Adames. To be ready early, to get the swing ready early, get the barrel in the zone early. And in some ways, I think Josh is one of the early adapters, what I call the modern swing. A lot of people now have followed Josh the way that he followed Albert Pujols and some of his theories on the swing that plays in today's high velocity game.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Pujols has not changed his swing in recent years, has he?
Not a bit. He's amazing. The results may be a little bit different, but he's gone about it the same way. Why not? One of the all-time great hitters.
So is that to say that Pujols had the modern swing before the modern swing existed?
You know, the basics of it, yes. Now, Albert never had a big leg kick. It was basically just pick the heel up and put it back down. But in terms of the separation, the sequencing of the turns, feet, torso, hands coming through the zone, that's one of the things that Josh picked up on. And the path to the ball. Well, back in the day, people used to think, well, bring the barrel down to the baseball. It sounds like it's the shortest distance, right? Now it's get the barrel down into the path of the pitch. The pitch is coming down. Make sure the barrel is coming up on the same angle the pitch is coming down.
Adames, the young shortstop, handles this easily. And Snell, for the second time in 5 frames, faces the minimum. onto the 6th inning. On the first pitch, this is shot out towards center field. Geyer having to play it on a hop. And Lau leading things off. The right fielder, a leadoff single. Time to take a glance at our Budweiser game summary. Indians runs both coming in the 2nd. We were talking about Blake Snell, runners in scoring position. The Indians 3 for 6 off of Snell, which is about half of his season total of hits allowed. As you can see the number there at the bottom.
It's amazing. Yeah, you see the average and only 7 hits coming into tonight. He's been good. Indians hitters have been better.
Lau at first base. Here is Wendell. Wendell last night was held to just 1 single hit. That extended his hitting streak to 7 games. Prior to last night, he had 4 consecutive multi-hit games. A chance for another multi-hit game here this evening. And truly, over the last couple of months, that's not an exaggeration, over the last 2 months, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. He's hitting .343. An OPS that is over .930 the last 2 months.
Yeah, this is a guy they got in a trade for a catcher who's now in AA hitting a .188 just last December with Oakland. Originally drafted by the Indians.
Clocks this out to Cabrera in right field. Melky can't get there. Multi-hit night, Joey Wendell. Lau gets the stop sign at 3rd. Couple of runners in scoring position.
Yeah, 2 loud hits. This is going to be the breaking ball, the curve ball. He stays on that really nicely. That was back in 2012 when the Indians drafted him in the 6th round. The Indians had 40 picks that year. Only 2 have made the major leagues.
It's not easy, is it?
Tyler Naquin, the other one.
Ken Joy's had a really impressive season, hasn't he?
He has. Great example of perseverance, too. 1,804 plate appearances at AAA. That's a lot these days. And here's a guy that was designated for assignment by the A's last December. That's when the trade occurred.
Duffy into the corner. Cabrera having to dig it out there. A couple of men are coming home. Both score. Lau in easily from 3rd. Wendell right behind him. But this game is now tied in the 6th thanks to Matt Duffy.
Good job, Brando.
Aggressive hitting this inning by Tampa Bay. Another breaking ball, but that's, he didn't alert me. That was not a fastball, but that was in the middle of the zone. That was kind of a get me over curveball to an aggressive hitter. He took advantage.
Ken, you were saying?
Yeah, getting back to Wendell. He wasn't surprised that the A's designated him and then traded him. He had Jed Lowry ahead of him, Franklin Barreto behind him. Chad Pinder, a good friend of his, a similar type, though from the different side of the plate. He was there as well. So basically, this was a move he sort of expected. The Rays loved his makeup. They thought he could hit, and they're thrilled by his defensive progress at multiple positions.
Now Wendell's having a terrific season. He has helped tie this game in the 6th inning. And now Ji-Man Choi, who has doubled twice in as many at-bats, coming to the plate here for the Rays.
And both those hits, he went the other way to left center field. Here, I believe he'd be thinking more about pulling the baseball to the pull side. Runner on 2nd, nobody out.
Missing ball 1. Lefty Tyler Olson getting loose. And Duffy with pretty good speed leading at 2nd base. He's the go-ahead run. The 2-0. Gonzalez deep in the hole at second. Short toss. That moves Duffy into third base. One down. Well, the MLB At-Bat mobile app brings every baseball moment to your favorite devices. Catch it all season with the free MLB.tv game of the day, live radio broadcasts, in-game highlights, stats, news, and much more. You can download MLB At-Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
Well, that goes in the books as an out 4-3. That was a good at-bat. Waited until he got a pitch in that he could pull, runner on third. Now the Indians bring the infield in.
Tommy Pham, the batter, stares at strike one. Now Pham swinging a hot bat, 6-game hitting streak, a dozen hits in those 6 games with a couple of home runs. He shoots this to the gap, and this is giving the Rays the lead in the 6th inning. Pham hunts extra bases. He cruises into second. It's a go-ahead RBI double, and the Rays now lead the Indians here in Cleveland 3-2.
Yeah, just a noticeable drop in the quality of the stuff. There's another breaking ball that's going to be middle of the plate. That's what Duffy jumped on, and another mistake that Pham jumps on. Major league hitters are not going to miss those mistakes. Breaking balls up in the middle of the zone, especially for someone looking to get the ball in the air, as Pham was in that situation.
Shane Bieber done for the night. Terry Francona takes the ball. We've got a pitching change in the 6th. Shane Bieber, for the most part, cruising along until this 6th inning. And now Tyler Olson, the lefty, up on the mound. Last year was brilliant. Did not allow a single run in 30 appearances. This year's been different. You can see the numbers there. 15 earned in 21 innings.
Well, the damage, Aaron, has come from right-handed hitters who have an OPS over 1,000 against him. Fastball curveball combo works well on lefties such as Kiermaier. The plan, I would think, is go after Kiermaier, pitch around Adames, and Bauer behind him, another lefty.
One out, Pham at second. Away in front, 0-2. Now, if Kiermaier strikes out on this next pitch, he will strike out 3 times tonight on 9 pitches. Old foul.
Well, he actually had a pitch to handle right there. I'm sure Olsen wants to sweep this breaking ball farther out of the zone, take advantage of almost an anxiety that's almost visual right now on Kiermaier. Let's think about staying back on that breaking ball.
First time tonight that Kiermaier has had ball one. Although it did happen in the fourth inning. He was left at the plate when Choi was picked off at second. This is into right field for a base hit. Pham comes racing around third. Cabrera's throw to the plate. The tag. He is safe. The Rays have struck for 4 runs in the top of the 6th. That must feel awfully good for Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah, well, Olsen not so much because he's trying to get that breaking ball away. Watch, he'll stay back, and there's too much in the zone with that breaking ball. That's supposed to sweep away from him. Good balance. And Cabrera's got a strong arm here, but Pham runs really well, and a great job by Kiermaier. That ball, as soon as it left Cabrera's hand, he read the height of the throw and knew he could get to second base. Instead of pitching around Adames, they'll just put him on first base.
An intentional pass to Adames. Here comes Bowers, the rookie. And the book on Bieber is closed. 4 runs over 5 1/3. Adam Sember, right-hander, coming over from the Padres, getting loose now.
Yeah, I would suspect we'd see him next on Sucre. Olsen just hasn't shown the same tilt on that breaking ball that I'm sure he'd like to have.
Missing wide, ball 1 to Bowers. Now Bowers a much needed hit, let alone an extra base hit his last time up. Count moves even. Adames the runner at first. Kiermaier. Very good speed at second. The Rays shut out over the first 5 frames. 4 runs here in the 6th.
Now this is where on the lefty here he can go to that breaking ball if he's got the full confidence in it. Showed him the fastball away. You start the curveball, a breaking ball in a similar plane and let it sweep out of the zone. That was the pitch. That's what he wanted to do, but good take by Bowers. Here's what it looks like to a lefty. You see a breaking ball as a lefty, you see that spin. If it's starting on the plate, that's what you take. If it starts at you, that's when you swing.
Down swinging. Gets him that time with it.
That's a really good sign. He stuck with his best pitch, doubled up on it, executed it well.
Simber warming. Terry Francona making the trip out to the mound. We got a pitching change. Simber to face Sucre when we come back. A 28-year-old rookie, just turned 28, Adam Simber began the season with the Padres, coming over with Brad Hand from San Diego to Cleveland. His numbers with both teams combined.
Well, I always say in the big leagues as a pitcher, you need 2 of 3 things: deception, velocity, and command. He does not have velocity, but deception, he's got that because of the slingshot delivery, especially to right-handers. And command, yeah, keep the ball there, he's in good shape. That's about it. You'll see mid-80s, maybe 87, 88 at best with Simber. Tough pickup for a right-handed hitter facing him for the first time.
Sucre batting with 2 outs and 2 on. Twice tonight, Sucre has flown out to Cabrera in right field. Thomas at first, Kiermaier at second. Simber's 1-1. Soft chopper. Ramirez charging as time with Sucre running. 9 batter. Top of the 6th comes to a close as the Rays have taken the lead. The 6th inning. Well, the NFL is back with a huge doubleheader on Fox. Most of the country will see Odell Beckham and the Giants take on the Jaguars at 1 Eastern, followed by America's Game of the Week. Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys taking on Cam Newton and the Panthers September 9th on Fox. Or watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. Encarnacion leads off the home 6th inning for the Indians. Snell pitching with the lead for the first time tonight.
Let's see if he goes to the changeup here. 2-0. He's been very careful with Edwin all night. And he went to the breaking ball. Yeah, he showed him 2 fastballs. You're not going to throw a real good hitter who's hot right now 3 straight, especially behind on the count. Good work, pitcher and catcher tandem.
The 3-1 makes it a full count.
He got away with the changeup up, and we've seen him throw 3-2 changeups in this game. He can also go curveball. I would go curveball down and in. Got him.
There it is. 6 strikeouts tonight for Snell. 1 down.
That's so tough when you've got a pitcher who on a full count can execute 3 different pitches at speeds about 14-15 miles apart. Good luck.
Ken, how about more on Blake Snell?
Well, guys, there actually is such a thing as too skinny. Snell said that was his problem in the spring of 2017. He came in weighing under 200 pounds as opposed to 210 now. He worked hard this offseason to get his legs stronger. He felt his lower body got fatigued last year. In the spring of 2017, skinny Blake was throwing 89, 90 miles per hour. This spring, stronger Blake, first pitch 97.
Well, there's definitely a difference in the velocity. Still a little skinny, isn't he?
He can still fill out, I think.
2-1.
Great point Kenny made about the velo, because when I first saw Blake, the guy I compared him to was Drew Smiley. Remember him? Left-hander. He's currently rehabbing from Tommy John surgery with the Cubs. But, you know, he had a good year or so plus with the Rays. Similar delivery in that they both were extreme overhand, right over the top, left-handed pitchers. Good, both really good breaking balls. The difference for me is the finish that Blake gets on his pitches.
Just a little bit of a tap foul back to the glove of Sucre. Back-to-back strikeouts.
So I want you to look at Smiley and Snell. You'll see the release point will be the same, but pay attention to how they finish. Smiley's arm is going to stop when he lets the ball go, and he's pretty erect when he throws. Watch Drew's back after he lets go. It'll flatten out, and the hand comes all the way back and will hit his back pocket. That's what I'm talking about, finish. When you watch Blake finish a pitch, I want you to watch his hand after release.
Geyer fouls that off his lower half.
That's called deceleration. And you do that when you have tremendous arm speed, flexibility, and as Kenny was talking about, you know, just the physical training that allows the body to maximize the speed. And you talk about speed of pitches, you also have to talk about the speed of the body as it works. And the way Snell gets out on his front side, flattens his back, and that hand comes all the way around, will hit his back pocket. That's a strong, healthy pitcher.
Didn't you do a diamond demo of some kind with Pedro Martinez on this very topic?
Yeah, it's something a lot of actually people interested in biomechanics will look for as well, because deceleration, the way your arm stops, that's actually the brakes. You think of the car as an engine, and he has perfect deceleration.
Strikes out the side in order. Change where Terry Francona. Olsen is out, but what did you see here, Tom?
Yeah, watch this. He'll put the hand in the glove with the fastball grip, and nothing will change, right? The glove doesn't move. Well, when you look at the sign with a fastball grip, that's the fastball right there. You start out with fastball grip, you'll have to change it in the glove. So when you begin to see wiggle with the glove and the glove move like that, that's the tip-off that the breaking ball is coming. So if I'm Tyler Olsen, what I do to solve that, especially a runner on second base can see that. And a hitter sometimes, a guy paying attention, can see wiggle or no wiggle. Just wiggle all the time. That's the solution. And for a guy who's had his issues this year, and I like his stuff, that's something I'd look at.
Veteran Oliver Perez has taken over on the mound.
Well, Oliver moves everything. He gives nothing away. I mean, he'll show you the inside of his glove while he takes the sign. A little hesitation there, the drop down. I always say he reminds me of a magician showing you, like, there's nothing inside my hat. There's nothing inside my glove, I swear. You see that? Yeah, maybe he'll turn his back to you. You never know what you're going to get.
Right back off of him. Boy, caroms to Ramirez, and he is able to make the play. Perez all right, though. He says that he is.
I'm not sure if this hit his hand. Yeah, it did. Hit the pitching hand. Yeah, he does finish square to the plate, but that's hit strong, hard enough. And he just hasn't had time to get the glove up. 104 miles an hour coming back at you. Lindor's laughing, of course, as he always is. He's checking his heart. Forget the hand. Is that thing still ticking?
Perez turned 37 midway through August. All it takes is one pitch, he says.
Anybody have more fun on a baseball field than that guy?
Well, certainly nobody shows it more than him. So 1 up, 1 down. Joey Wendell, the batter now. A couple of base hits, a run scored.
You like that tee-out move, don't you?
How can you not?
Like snowflakes, his pitches. They're different every time. No two alike.
Chaz Rowe, top of the screen, getting loose for the Rays. Dan Otero getting loose for the Indians. I'll tell you what, you look at Oliver Perez, and we laugh for good reason about how he goes about it, but this is not just a circus act. This is not a trip to the carnival for Perez. He has been a integral part of this bullpen, which is much improved in the second half compared to the first half of the Indians.
Yeah, his career has had 9 lives too, hasn't it? I remember seeing him in the Nationals organization at AA Harrisburg, and I think he was in his 30s at the time. And of course, he came up as a flamethrower, starting pitcher. I remember he was a free agent after a real good year with the Mets. A lot of strikeouts, throwing the ball hard at a young age. And his agent Scott Boras actually had some numbers to compare him to Sandy Koufax. At least in terms of strikeout rate.
Sure.
That's what he was like early on in his career.
Well, he gets a punch out here. Wendell down swinging. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, when you see all those breaking balls, that 93 looks like 103 to Joey Wendell. He's going to beat him to the spot with the fastball here. Pure power because of the change of velocity.
You can see a lot of Koufax there. Otero coming down the steps. Get another pitch and change for the Indians. No surprise. Two outs, top of the 7th. Bases empty. Rays leading the Indians here tonight 4-2. Matt Duffy, the batter. Dan Otero, the pitcher for Terry Francona. Otero historically has been a really good reliever for the Indians, struggling this year, however.
A ground ball machine when he's on. It's a busy night for the infielders. Real good sinking fastball, especially into right-handed hitters. Like that.
Right on cue, 1-1. Matt Duffy tied this game up at 2 in the 6th inning with a double. The Rays would go on to take the lead, a 4-run 6th.
It's kind of a vanishing breed, Aaron. The sinker ball in general, but a sinker ball relief pitcher. So many teams now with so much power out there want the ball not even in play. Otero is a guy who relies on weak contact. That old sinker slider guy that Otero is. Used to be a lot of them in bullpens.
A lot of them in general.
In general, and now it's about the swing and the miss, getting strikeouts.
I wonder come postseason time for the Indians, depending on what shakes out at center field. I mean, this is not a center field that has a ton of range. You go pole to pole. When it comes to fly ball pitchers for the Indians, if that will present a liability at some point for them. Brantley having a tremendous year offensively, but of course ankle surgery last offseason. He does not have the range that he once had when he was in center field. Cabrera, a strong arm, and we've seen highlight reels of Cabrera climbing the wall.
Well, that man right there, Greg Allen, to me, he's got to get more run. You know, the bat has come along.
Had a good month of August.
Yeah, I think he's earned himself more plate appearances, and I love his defense in the outfield. As you mentioned, they thought Leonis Martin was the answer.
A tremendous defensive center field. He's done for the year. There was some who thought that maybe this would be a nice home for Andrew McCutchen. Of course, he goes on to New York. Some thought Adam Jones might be on his way to Cleveland. He expressed his interest in his loyalty with staying with Baltimore. Free agent at the end of the year.
See Gomes saying, give me a shake because we're going to keep throwing sinkers. He's trying to get Duffy to think he's getting off the sinker to the slider. He's throwing him good sinkers, but the difficulty is getting a swing and a miss. Let's see if they stay stubborn with that sinker. Get it farther in or farther out. Again, the fake shake. Going to go out this time.
Pitch number 9. Count.
And you said, so Dan, wanting to get the ball away, fade the body towards first base. That's why he lost the ball farther out than he wanted. See if you can stay on plane, head on target.
Brantley angling back, and he makes the catch. 10-pitch at bat ends without number 3. Time to stretch. Take a look at tonight's Gatorade proven performer, and it is the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay, Blake Snell, who off to a little bit of a rough start, but he sure did rebound.
Yeah, he's sharpened up his stuff as this game has gone on. You're seeing a lot of secondary pitches for the strikeouts, especially the curveball, the put-away pitch. You're starting to see now a little more confidence with the fastball, and you'll see it. There's a breaking ball right there again, but the fastball, to me, is a pitch he throws more than 50% of the time. He gets a swing right there on it. And I think early in the game, he was not as aggressive as he typically is. And certainly in the last couple of innings, he's dialed up the aggressiveness, especially with the fastball.
He's at 92 pitches now, opening up the bottom of the 7th. We asked Kevin Cash about pitch counts with him today.
That was interesting, wasn't it? Because remember, he came off the DL a while ago. He's 5 starts out of that. And he said, listen, he doesn't have any governors on him. So I thought, well, what does that mean in terms of pitches? He said, well, he can go over 100, but he said, you will not see 120. He said, I did that a few years ago with Chris Archer. You know, he just got in a situation, a long at bat, a last hitter, a right-handed hitter, and the pitch count got over 120. Well, he said what you might expect. He got some phone calls from the front office. He's not going to make that mistake again. That is the red zone these days. You do not go there with anybody. 120 plus you rarely see anymore.
Melky Cabrera leads it off. There have been a host of changes defensively in the outfield for Tampa Bay. Tommy Pham is now in center. Lau has moved to left field from right field. That bounces in. And Carlos Gomez off the bench in right field, so Kiermaier out for the night.
It's surprising to me. Must be something to take him off the field. You know, if I've got a lead, as the Rays do, and Kiermaier's on my team, he's on the field.
He would be the guy that you would bring off the bench.
Yeah. When we talk about impact players, we typically talk about offensive players, and he does it on the defensive side.
1-2. Nice night for Cabrera.
Does he get the curveball down and in? You got to be thinking that. He did. That's the one time he missed with it. Again, hitters do not have a hit on that pitch this year. The curveball down and in. It's crazy how good that is. I put it in the same category as that Chris Sale slurvy thing to right-handed hitters. Different angles, similar results.
Cuts right through that pitch to make it now 4 consecutive strikeouts from Snell, 9 on the night. Well, next Saturday will be at Fenway Park, a potential playoff preview. Jose Altuve and the Astros taking on Mookie Betts and the Red Sox. Hope you can join us next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. You're surprised to see that pitch selection with 2 strikes as opposed to the curve?
That slider, yeah, why not though? It's almost like, you know, he's got so many options. They're all good decisions at this point. Look out.
That's uncomfortable for Gomes.
And Kenny had that nice report on his conditioning. You really have to be happy if you're the Rays to see someone now this deep into a season, a guy who wants to be a 200-inning pitcher, this deep into a season, September now, this deep into a game with the pitch count where it is, and no drop off in the stuff.
Adames takes care of that easily. 2 down. That brings up number 9 hitter, second baseman Eric Gonzalez.
And Aaron, I think this is going to be, if he gets him out, his last hitter. You know, one of the things Kevin Cash told us about the way the Rays keep an eye on pitch counts, they also count the innings in terms of the number of times the pitcher gets up and down. So I think to have him finish the inning and not go back out again for an 8th inning, no matter where the pitch count stands, I think that's where they would draw a finish line.
98 in on the hands, 0-1.
It's good. It's about average, about big league average. You know, the real good ones are going to be at 66%, 2 out of every 3. A lot of those mistakes, if they were early.
Bowers can't get to it. Under his glove into right field. Gonzalez is aboard. That snaps 10 in a row, sat down by Snell. And with Lindor striding to the plate, the tying run is coming up.
Yeah, this is the old second hop. The overspin ate him up. When that ball is going to bounce a second time, it's going to come up a little hotter than the fielder expects. And I think that's what happened to Bowers. And a good visit here by Kevin Cash. I think he's going to take the ball from him.
And he will. Jose Alvarado. Lefty coming on to face Lindor. Things getting interesting here. 2 outs. Gonzalez aboard. Lindor coming to the plate. Instead, a 2-out single by Gonzalez and a runner aboard. Tying run coming to the plate, facing Jose Alvarado, having a really nice season.
Yeah, really good stuff. He's got a very quick arm, and the ball stays behind that big body as he gets loaded, so the hitter doesn't see it until late. And you're talking about someone who can bring it high 90s with 2 really good breaking balls. Nice matchup right here against Lindor, who, as you mentioned, is better this year from the right side.
Average fastball for Alvarado on average 98 miles an hour this season.
It was interesting during that pitching change, Sucre changed gloves. I have not seen that from a catcher before. Maybe with Alvarado we went to some more padding.
It's not exactly like Snell was lobbing
That's
softballs
true.
to the plate. 1-1 to Lindor. 0 for 3 so far tonight. 29 home runs this season for Francisco Lindor. Old foul.
Yeah, good rip at that. Dangerous hitter. Representing the tying run. And that's why, to me, I know that hop kind of ate up Bowers, but you got to make that play. You got a pitcher on the mound driving for a Cy Young award. You make that play, you're off the field. He's in line to have the win, clean 7 innings, and now the game is in the bullpen's hands. It's in good hands in Alvarado, don't get me wrong. But you certainly wanted Snell to walk off the field in a clean 7.
Alvarado's 0-2. Chopper, Wendell, chest high onto first. Accurate throw. Ends the inning. Gonzalez stranded onto the 8th. Swiffer and by Ford going further so you can. Beautiful night here in downtown Cleveland. First pitch temperature in the mid 80s as we move to the top of the 8th. Rays leading in the middle game of this 3-game series 4-2 over the Indians. Welcome back inside Progressive Field. Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Verducci. And Tom, we began this broadcast tonight talking about Blake Snell, how he has become part of the Cy Young conversation in the American League. What did you do tonight to prove you one way or the other?
Well, listen, it's time of year for campaigning, right? We saw it last night with Corey Kluber. I mean, we know he's Mr. Cy Young. And Blake Snell, to me, the way he came out, you know, slightly shaky the first couple of innings, but so impressed by the way he found his stuff. A guy who had a league-leading ERA in August, 1.04, gave up a whole 2 runs. But, man, he is right in that discussion for American League Cy Young Award.
1 earned, by the way, so that'll help things. Ji-Man Choi leads it off. This is a very meaningful outing tonight, an appearance by right-handed John Edwards. Just recalled today, called up from AAA Columbus. You can see his numbers in the International League this year. Edwards, a Chicago native, 30 years old. He's back on a major league mound for the first time since 2015. What a night for Ji-Man Choi. 3-hit night for the Rays DH.
That's a great point about Edwards. You know, we think of the September call-ups as a way to reward the young players, get a taste of the big leagues. Well, how about 30-year-old veterans who missed 2 full seasons with elbow surgery, reconstruction, and recovery? Back on a big league mound, as you said, for the first time in 3 years.
Born in Chicago, grew up in Keller, Texas. Began his pro career as an outfielder, the Cardinals organization. Working around a leadoff single by Ji-Man Choi facing Tommy Pham. Pham gave the Rays the lead back in the 6th inning.
So maybe these 2 guys cross paths somewhere in that Cardinals system, huh? Tommy Pham, long time in the Cardinal organization, traded this year to Tampa Bay.
Goes 3/4 of the way around. The Rangers were the organization that converted him from an outfielder to a pitcher. Actually made his big league debut with Texas back in 2014. It's that time with him again in 2015 before moving on that season to San Diego. In on the hands. A good off-speed pitch gets Tommy Pham. First strikeout for Edwards since 2015 in the big leagues. How about that 6th inning? What a 6th inning it was for Tampa Bay. Joey Wendell chipping in. Overall, 4 runs that inning and a host of doubles, 5 hits in total.
Yeah, all 3 doubles on breaking balls from Shane Bieber. You know, it just seemed like he lost the edge on his stuff very quickly. And then Olsen, another breaking ball that Kiermaier took advantage of for an RBI hit. Bieber had been cruising.
Season high 6 doubles this year, 3 of those in that 4-run 6th inning. Kevin Kiermaier had to be pulled from this game because of back spasms. Carlos Gomez batting in his spot as he stings this to center. Geyer back on it. 2 outs. Choi back to first. Well, manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. You can learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. Two outs, a runner aboard. Willie Adames, the shortstop, batting now. 1 for 2, was intentionally walked as well.
Well, Aaron, I know you and Ken talked about Wendell, and maybe he's a piece going forward now, the way he's played this year for Tampa Bay. It's this guy they know is a piece going forward. Adames certainly played much better the last 4 weeks. Not a surprise. They've always had high aspirations for him. And I think for a team that's gone through a lot of changes and transitions just this year, but especially the last couple of years, I think they got some pieces to settle on now going forward. And as Kevin Cash told us, you know, maybe not superstar players, but solid, good major league players.
With all the moves, they have essentially pushed the development up at least half a season for some of these guys.
Well, don't forget, if you watched the game last night with Tyler Glasnow on the mound, you know, throwing 98, 6'8", throwing more strikes than he's ever had. That's always been his bugaboo, his command.
Well, he was intentionally walked his last time up. This time walked on 4 pitches.
You guys, keep in mind too, the Rays have 3 young pitchers who underwent Tommy John surgery this year, one of whom eventually could be an ace. That's Brent Honeywell. The other 2, Jose De Leon and Anthony Banda, who they acquired in a trade. So they have injured pitchers coming, they have young pitchers coming, and young players coming in abundance.
Now, Ken, that begs the question, will the opener then fade away?
They are the Rays.
That's true. I mean, Kevin Cash must have just been smiling ear to ear waking up this morning knowing that he would be managing back-to-back conventional Major League Baseball games. We talked about Glasnow last night. Spectacular.
Blake Snell tonight.
Tremendous. I mean, this is the first time the Rays have had a starting pitcher go at least 6 innings in consecutive games since July 7th and 8th, when it was Blake Snell. And now somebody no longer with the organization, Nathan Eovaldi, traded to the Red Sox.
That's a lot of improvisation with the opener and running your bullpen. You got to be part John McGraw, part Jonathan Winters to improvise. You're looking at me like, who the heck is Jonathan Winters? The master of improv comedy. But somehow they've made this work. And, you know, I looked at this with starters when the Rays go 2 innings or less, which is basically the opener. They're a 500 team. 22 and 22. when anybody else gets that kind of non-length from a starter, they lose 75% of the time. It's not easy to do. I like what they've done in terms of the efficiency and matching up a guy essentially facing the lineup once, maybe not even the whole lineup to start the game. But then you really rely on those secondary pitches to give you a little bit of length. I think that's tough to manage on a yearly basis. You know, on a week-to-week basis, you get by.
Another walk. Now the bases are now loaded with 2 outs.
And here's the numbers here. Generally, a starting pitcher, he goes 2 innings or less, you're going to lose the game. Well, if you plan on it this way, though, you could be a 500 team. It's amazing to me. They've made this thing work. Their pitching staff is what now, 3rd in the American League in earned run average.
Well, they're coming off a tremendous month up on the mound. Of course, the Rays 17-10 in August. The 2nd lowest ERA last month in the majors. They had the lowest WHIP, lowest opposing batting average of the majors last month.
And a lot of people, when they did go to this opener concept, said it would catch up to them, that the bullpen would be worn out. And those numbers you just pointed out, Aaron, how well they've pitched of late, tells you that's not the case. Maybe as a group, the bullpen has picked up actually a record number of innings we're heading towards, but not individually. That's great credit to Kevin Cash.
Bags packed for Sucre. He looks at strike 1. And Ken, as a lot of things in baseball do, this has caught on a little bit, has it not?
It has. Oakland's planning to do this. Texas has considered it. Other teams are looking at it as well because it makes sense in a couple of different ways. It enables you to protect your young pitchers, line them up, match them up the way you want them to. You don't have to worry about second, third times through the order when they're the second pitcher in the game. They can go through those hitters just 2 times, and that's fine. So, yes, this could be something of the future, but, Tom, you know this. What do teams aspire to? They aspire to being the Houston Astros with 5 great starters.
Well, not only that, Ken, but in the interest of full disclosure, as much as I respect what they've done, I'm not a fan of it because it's not entertaining. It's kind of like when I was a kid eating string beans. It was good for me, but I didn't like it. I didn't want that as my main course. You know, I love seeing Blake Snell take the mound and thinking that a one pitcher can dominate a team for 7, 8, 9 innings. I want to see the matchups of ace against ace. What you're doing is you're devaluing starting pitchers and those marquee matchups.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Rays have a chance to really open it up. Still 1-2 on Sucre.
Now, that's just the fan in me. What the Rays are doing in terms of using their intellect and proprietary information, it's amazing. They're like a great startup company that finds incremental ways to win baseball games.
Easy ground ball to Jose Ramirez. Pedals over to third base, and that ends the top of the 8th. FS1 out west, the University of Texas San Antonio faces off with Arizona State. Catch all the action next on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Year one of Herm Edwards there in Tempe with the Sun Devils. Michael Brantley leads it off for the Indians. Alvarado back up on the mound. He took over for Snell, who went 6 2/3. And if Snell was not the poster child of you better get him early, what you say about any ace, right? If they come out and they have some rust on it, they will shake that off quickly. Snell certainly did that. Now you're facing a big time arm, another one that is, in Alvarado.
Yeah, so if you're Brantley and you saw Snell, you see another tough left-hander here, but again, he does not give any ground. Talking to Brantley, that front side will stay in. The guy you have to defend the whole field against. Whew. That's just filthy. You saw the fastball at 98 and that slider with tremendous downward drop. Not just tilt, but drop as well.
An appeal, it does not go. And Brantley, one of the hardest hitters to strike out of the game. 41 walks, 45 strikeouts on the season now when you include the punch out facing Snell in the 5th. Most lefties would be 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts to this point. Makes contact, and it's off of Adames into center field. And the door remains open for the Indians. Brantley is aboard. It brings up Ramirez.
Tells you how hard this ball was hit. Watch it hit the bare hand off the look like the heel, and then the bare hand of Adames. That ball was smoked.
How about this comparison? These are career numbers entering tonight for two guys in the MVP conversation, Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez. Tom, they're almost identical in almost every category.
That is just crazy when you look at the similarities between these two guys. Two switch hitters, left side of the infield, now soon to become double play partners with Ramirez switching over.
Josh Donaldson arriving in Cleveland tonight. He will not be suiting up for the Indians anytime right around the corner. That's an error on Adames. It puts Brantley aboard. Here is Ramirez. Ball 1. Ken, how do you see the American League MVP race shaking up this final month?
Oh, he doesn't want to commit. You put him on the spot like that.
Too close to tell. Even count.
Well, I'll see if Kenny agrees with me. To me, it starts in Boston. I got to lean a little bit towards Mookie Betts. I mean, this guy's right here. I mean, he's cooled off a little bit, though. You know, the last 2 weeks, no home runs, just 1 or 2 doubles. You know, the extra base hits have dried up in the last week or so for both Ramirez and Lindor, who are on crazy runs with their extra base hit numbers. But, you know, Mookie, what he's done there, top of the lineup, defense, base running. I mean, JD Martinez could win the Triple Crown, too. All right, Ken Rosenthal, I'm wimping out, so maybe you can pick me up here and commit to one person.
All right, first of all, I apologize. I had hit the mute button on my microphone. I'm so used to doing it on Twitter that it carried over into my electronic world. Now, I'll start off by saying that I asked Francisco Lindor about this yesterday because he, of course, is a candidate, and he naturally pointed towards his teammate, Jose Ramirez, saying he's been the most productive player. And guys, if Ramirez moves to second and helps his team that way, that will be, in many voters' eyes, additional points for him. I, like Tom, like Betts a lot. Ramirez would be my guy right now, but I'll tell you who is going to get overlooked, and it's not right. It's Martinez. And I know he's a DH. I get it. I get there's not defensive value there as there is with other candidates. However, You guys talked about this earlier. Encarnacion, Donaldson. These guys have impact on other players on their team that cannot be quantified. Martinez is exactly the same way. He's like a third hitting coach there, and he has had a huge influence on Betts and some of the others.
Alex Kors raved about him in that role.
That's a great point, Kenny. I think that does come into play. It's not just the numbers. I'm not saying that's everything. It's part of the recipe. There's a big pitch right here. Remember, Ramirez just destroys fastballs. I don't care how hard. Does he come in with the fastball here in a fastball count?
And he does come in with the heater, but it's pulled foul.
Yep. And he's dead pull hitter from the right side. You take actually left side as well. You throw this guy velocity, he's going to get the barrel out front. I think sometimes that's why Jose is susceptible to the breaking balls. You see the breaking ball average is down. When you want to hit breaking balls out front, that makes you vulnerable to something off speed. Now, he could time a jet plane. Wouldn't surprise me if he sees the slider right here.
Brantley, the runner at first, tying run at the plate. The 3-2. Up and in. First two-man reach, an error and a walk.
He did throw the slider, and that's where reputation comes into play. Fastball count, fastball hitter, protecting 2 runs. Walk, not a bad play by Alvarado.
Chaz Rowe warming. His number being called. Go ahead run coming to the plate. Encarnacion. No walk of the park. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app tonight. Encarnacion, who is sitting on 29 home runs, batting with nobody out. Runners at first and second, now facing Chaz Rowe out of the Rays bullpen.
And Rowe's job is to get him out on sliders, but he's going to have to, in this sequence, show the sinker in to open up the outside for the slider, but mostly all sliders. There it is. You know, I love watching Edwin, by the way. We talked about a student of hitting. When Rowe was going through his warm-ups, Encarnacion was locked in on him. I see so many guys not paying attention to the pitcher's warm-ups. He was looking exactly at what Rowe was working on and also timing the delivery by watching every pitch.
Off the end of the bat, Adames on to Wendell to first base, and it is in time for a huge double play. Brantley, the lone survivor, now at third base with 2 outs.
And again, it wasn't a mystery. Get him out with sliders. This is a good one right here. Late movement, working off the barrel. Gets the soft contact. What a job by Chaz Rowe.
Two outs, man at third for Diaz. He's yet to hit a home run in his career. Looks at ball 1. I've talked about how unconventional this Rays pitching staff is this year, of course, with the opener, and we have set history tonight. We have witnessed history. The Rays bullpen has now logged more innings, Tom, than any bullpen in baseball history.
Get that game ball. Put it in a glass case. I think they beat, what, the 2012 Colorado Rockies? They got a month to go in the season. They've pitched more innings than any team in history out of the bullpen. Well, certainly the game has changed, and the Rays have taken it to another level.
1-2.
I mean, that is a wiffle ball he's throwing up there. I mean, forget the sinker. Right now, his slider is so good. Such late movement and big movement late. Might as well throw it again.
The 1-2. Soft fly ball. Pham is taken over in center. He makes the catch easily. Chaz Rowe gets the Rays out of it. More importantly, tonight for the Rays, gets Tampa Bay out of a jam, gets Encarnacion to bounce to a double play, and then Diaz to fly to center. We go to the 9th inning. Former starter, now pitching in relief, Josh Tomlin taking over.
Yeah, it's kind of like an old, older, polished version of Shane Bieber. He relies on command, doesn't walk anybody, as you see there, walks down, gets hit when the ball's over the plate.
This is smoked down by the pole in right field. Will it stay? It's off the foul pole. Brandon Lau, with his second of the season, puts a dent in the right field pole. And with that, the Rays have now extended the lead by a run. It's 5-2.
Yeah, no sooner had I said it than he left 87 over the plate, and that ball was crushed. Wow.
That's dead red.
Where the ball really jumps off Lau's bat, doesn't it?
And not to overanalyze this, that's your job after all, Tom.
Please.
First of all, rarely do we see home runs off the foul pole, of course, but I can't remember seeing home runs that high off of a foul pole before. I mean, not all that often, at least. And that was good halfway up almost. That was crushed.
The way the ball comes off his bat reminds me a little bit of Corey Dickerson. You know, former Ray, off in Pittsburgh these days. He just seems to have real tremendous backspin to carry off the bat. The home run he hit in Atlanta, his first home run dead center field, traveled well.
This is near the line. Gonzalez, tonight's starting second baseman, makes the catch. 1 out.
Hitting now for Tampa Bay, third baseman Matt Duffy.
One out, one on. Excuse me, 1 out, a run in. Matt Duffy coming to the plate here. And as we have flipped the page to the final month of the regular season, guys, I do wonder a little bit, especially with Kevin Cash here and the endorsement that Terry Francona gave him last night. He believes that Cash is the American League Manager of the Year. Now, the Rays have been remarkable since about the midway point in April. It goes back that far, and of course, you've got to put in context the division they play in, of the Yankees and the Red Sox, and also the fact that they have traded almost anyone of consequence, it feels like. But you would think that maybe Alex Cora in Boston would be the front runner there for that incredible Red Sox team, but Bob Melvin has got to be in that conversation as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's in the race, there's no question. We should point out, though, that Francona, not exactly a neutral party.
I think that you're absolutely right.
These two go way back, obviously. Kevin having played for and coached with Terry Francona. Alex Cora has done an amazing job. I know that's a good team, but he was the right hire at the right time for that team. And the fact that they've never let up the foot off the pedal this year, they still haven't. It's tough not to go with Melvin, what Oakland has done. Who saw them coming like this?
Duffy drops his into right center field. Taken by Geyer. 1 out base hit. Kenny, what are your thoughts?
Cash would be a great choice, but I'm with Tom. Bob Melvin has a team with the lowest payroll in the majors as of opening day anyway. A team that lost a number of young pitchers in spring training, had other injuries to deal with as well, and has played beyond anyone's expectations. Should they make the playoffs, and that does matter in this kind of thing, he's the guy.
Yeah, I'm glad you added that little addendum there. I do think it hinges on Oakland getting in or not. I think if they get in, he wins it. If they don't, you're looking at a Cash or Cora.
1 out, 1 on for Choi. So let me see if I understand this correctly. JD Martinez could win the Triple Crown and not win the MVP. And Alex Cora almost undoubtedly will guide his team to 100 wins and may not win American League Manager of the Year.
Well, Aaron, the reason for that in the manager category is that that award generally goes to the manager whose team defies expectations by the widest margin. It isn't always the guy that has the best team. In fact, those guys are kind of handicapped in such races.
Sure. I'm just trying to really push the pedal down on you guys a little bit here.
Yeah, I see what you're doing here. The Red Sox could win more games than any Red Sox team in franchise history this year. That's how good they've been.
But to Ken's point, I mean, Tom, I can write down a pretty good lineup for the Red Sox.
A lot of people had them in the postseason when the year began, right? Wild card or division winners. Who had Oakland? Find me that one person who doesn't work for the team who had them as a postseason team.
Not only who had Oakland after May, right? I mean, not just going into the season. But since you can put it about the midway point in June, I mean, they've been playing .720 baseball, right around their winning percentage.
Don't come to me now.
And I think defensively, they're a much better team than I thought. And part of that is Matt Chapman is spectacular at third base. But I mean, look at teams that make improvements quickly. A way to do that efficiently in terms of finances, get better on defense, and they're spectacular on defense.
1-on-1 on top of the ninth. An appeal, and they say that it goes. And Choi is out, number 2. Brings up Tommy Pham. Well, I think you're spot on about Chapman. If the A's do make the playoffs, whether it's Chapman or Chris Davis, who is the most overlooked 40 home run, 100 RBI player in the game, one of those guys has to get some MVP votes. I mean, Chapman could win the Platinum Glove this year. He might be the best defender in the entire game.
Yeah, certainly the defensive metrics support that historically, what he's doing at third base. Whether you go by old school metrics or new school metrics, just it really become a much better offensive player than I thought he would be. Yeah, he's going to be on the ballot, MVP ballot. I think probably the defense gives him an edge over his teammate, Chris Davis.
Well, Chapman could finish the year conservatively with 25 home runs and hitting in the neighborhood of 290 with third base that, I don't know, better than Nolan Arenado, better than his high school teammate.
Might be. Now, that's saying something.
Even if you're in the conversation to ask that question, you're doing
Right.
something right. One and one.
Well, he made a good point earlier about Jose Ramirez. If in fact he does switch to second base, that'll be later in the season, obviously, but the versatility, I think, gives him, you know, a few bonus points, if you will. I look at Javier Baez of the Cubs the same way in the other league.
Shallow center field for Geyer. Now number 3. Runners stranded. Indians down to their final 3 outs. Pretty strong ovation for Jason Kipnis, who will pinch hit and lead things off in the bottom of the 9th inning. Indians down to their final 3 outs, down by 3 runs. Kipnis, who's swinging probably as hot of a bat as he has all year. He's 9 for his last 18. A couple of home runs mixed in that stretch. You can see the numbers overall this year, though, have been lower than he would like. Chasro back up on the mound for the Rays. Ball 1.
You better look for a left-handed hitter against that slider from Rowe. You see the shift. Outfield straight away, but on the ground it's going to be to the pull side. As you mentioned, Jason's been swinging the bat much better lately. Credited his own little hitting session in his hotel room one day. Picked up a magazine to use as a bat.
Well, of course. And
used his iPad for some video comparisons. Adjusted the position of his hands. And voila.
It's that simple.
That simple. Magazine. The hitting coach says, yeah, well, I think it helped a little bit. And Berkelo says, yeah, it's not just a magazine. It's not that easy.
Drive out towards the pole in right field. Fair or foul? It's off the pole. Our second tonight. Are you serious? Kipnis with a pinch hit home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Indians within 2. I'd start subscribing to that magazine if I were him.
Wow. That's got to feel good for a guy who's, let's face it, his playing time may be threatened with the arrival of Josh Donaldson. He's like, hold on a second, I got something to add here to this team.
In steps Cabrera.
Fastball in. Little body English. Go foul, go foul. Oh. Should have leaned a little farther, Chaz. Aaron, I've been coming to a lot of big league games.
I know what you're going to say.
I have never seen 2 balls hit the foul pole in the same game. Almost the same spot, too.
I was going to say, you can scratch my, hey, that was pretty high up comment. Apparently that's the norm.
Fastball in. Look how quick the swing is. He knew it, too. When you can take the fastball in and hit it down the line without any hooking action, that tells you how quick you are to not come around the baseball.
This is line right to Wendell. 1 out.
All those foul home runs you see guys hit where the crowd goes ooh and ah. Not a good sign when the ball has hooking action to it. You never want to come around the ball. And you notice Kipnis wasn't giving any body English. He knew that ball was going to stay true down the line because he got it true.
Kipnis has not had a lot of pinch hit opportunities in his career, but he was 0 for 11 entering that at bat before going deep. Jan Gomes the batter. Inside ball 1.
You know, remember, I said if Donaldson is healthy, there's a role here with that bat coming off the bench in a postseason game against a tough right-hander. And he just proved it. And I know you brought up his pinch hitting history. Not a great, as you said, large sample.
Well, very sporadic to say the least over the course of his
career.
career.
But I know if I'm managing the other team, I'm aware of his bat on the bench.
Two balls and a strike to Gomes. How big is that Brandon Lau home run now? Whew. The other one that went off the foul pole. muscled high, but hooking in towards the corner and left field. That's a foul ball.
People are so used to the ball hitting the foul pole. They thought they got another one. A big roar went up here, and people are like, wait a second. Why is that not a home run? Well, it hit something other than the foul pole. Let's see what it does hit out here. Oh, it hit the wire, the guy wire there, and people thought it hit the pole. 3 in one night. Why not? This is the first time Chaz hung one of those sliders. Not that one.
Gomes missing badly at it. Indians down to their final out.
Wiffle ball. Look how his fingers come around the baseball, the side spin. And he's not going to get a chance for his second career save. Rays playing matchup to the very end.
Adam Kolarek will be coming on to pitch, trying to get the final out of tonight's contest. Rays 1 out away from a win. Adam Kolarek called on to pick up his second career save, and he's facing the pinch hitting bat of Yonder Alonso.
Fastball slider, what he does is he'll give you different arm angles, different release points, sidearm and conventional.
Well, first pitch in play. Bowers off the bag. Kolarek puts it away at the pillow to complete a Rays win. They come from behind. They win it tonight 5-3 to split this series a game apiece. The finale coming tomorrow.
And get win number 17 for Blake Snell, throwing the ball as well as any pitcher, and yes, he's in the Cy Young discussion.
He absolutely is. Rays win it 5-3, our final score tonight from Progressive Field. Well, big thanks to all who made this one possible. For Ken Rosenthal, for Tom Verducci, I'm Aaron Goldsmith, for our entire FS1 crew. Glad you could join us on this Labor Day weekend from Cleveland. Back to Los Angeles. Mike Hill and the guys take it away.